Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely fascinating. We're taking some pretty deep, complex source material and, well, we're turning it into a clear, step-by-step visual tutorial. We're going to map out exactly how human conflict actually began. If you've ever found yourself wondering why we argue, why nations go to war, or why we just constantly feel the need to fight some quote-unquote enemy, then you're in the right place. We're going to break down the exact chronological steps of this really profound psychological origin story. So, let's jump right in.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the original state, move into the shattering thought, look at the three mind groups, explore projecting guilt outward, and finally wrap up with the illusion of conflict.
All right, Section 1, the original state, or being at home in God.
To really wrap our heads around conflict, we actually have to rewind to before materiality even existed. According to our source material, initially, there was literally no hardness of physical reality at all. There were simply these amorphous thought forms existing in a state of perfect, completely unified oneness. But then, a catalyst moment happens. A tiny thought creeps into eternity. And boom, suddenly that perfect unity is shattered. We're cast out of this heaven state. And in the aftermath, those formless entities start to, kind of like magnets, electromagnetically group together based on whatever they happen to be holding in their minds.
Moving on to Section 2, the shattering thought, the true catalyst for our separation. Now, we have to ask, what specific thought actually broke eternity? Well, what's truly mind-blowing here is the exact fleeting nature of it. The source describes a moment when the idea just sort of arose. Hey, let's make an opposite to heaven. Can there be something other? And the fateful reaction to that wild idea was simply, that's interesting. I wonder what that would be like. That's it. This simple, almost innocent curiosity about creating an opposite to heaven, just entertaining the idea of separation, was the inciting incident that catapulted us entirely out of oneness. By finding it interesting, we essentially made the error real in our own minds.
And the immediate visceral result of entertaining that little thought? Total panic. Absolute terror. The original unity instantly fragmented into pieces. The source describes this experience of suddenly being cast out, feeling incredibly upset, panicky, and completely clueless about what had just happened or even where we were. It is, for all intents and purposes, the ultimate trauma of separation.
Which brings us to Section 3, the three mind groups, and the real emergence of conflict.
So this massive shattering actually created three distinct, almost electromagnetic groups that represent the different parts of our mind. First up, we've got the light group. This is the calm presence of truth. Think of it as our right mind, which is just trying to soothe all that panic. Second is the dark group. Now, this is perceived as the enemy that's actively trying to build an opposite reality to heaven. This is our ego, or our wrong mind. And finally, right in the center of it all, there is the middle group, the panicked observer who is suddenly forced to make a choice.
And guess what? You and I find ourselves sitting right here as that middle group. We are the ones desperately looking for a way out of all our fear and confusion. We are literally the decision-maker part of the mind. We're the ones experiencing the utter terror of the void, looking around frantically and just trying to make some kind of sense out of a totally shattered reality.
Let's dive into Section 4, projecting guilt outward, or how we go about creating the enemy.
Now that we know who the key players are, let's look at the actual mechanics of human conflict and how our own guilt quite literally creates our reality. This cycle right here, it's the root of every single argument you've ever had. Step 1, we, the middle group, entertained that thought of separation. Step 2, because we made that thought real to ourselves, we feel this intense, crushing internal panic and guilt that we somehow ruined eternity. Now, Step 3 is the pivot. The light group whispers, hey, look within, realize this is just an illusion. But honestly, that guilt is just way too painful to look at, so we refuse to look inward. Instead, we jump straight to Step 4. We take all that guilt, all that deep darkness we feel inside, and we just project it completely outward onto the dark group. We instantly label them the bad guys.
We totally convince ourselves that we're just innocent victims in all of this. We point the finger squarely at those external bad guys who are supposedly out there trying to destroy love and build some terrible opposite to heaven. We tell ourselves, look, the problem is not in me. I'm just the victim of their bad ideas. The darkness is in them, not me. It's honestly a brilliant, if totally self-deceptive little maneuver we do to completely avoid taking any responsibility for our own mind.
And you know, the absurdity of it goes even further than that. The middle group gets so convinced of this fake external threat that we actually run back to the light group,
the part of our mind that literally represents pure truth and peace, and we try to recruit them. The source material quotes the middle group basically saying, hey, for your information, we must stop them. We are essentially begging truth and love to mobilize, join our army, and help us destroy this projected enemy out there to somehow protect God. We literally want to go to war with an illusion.
And that leads us to our final section. Section 5, the illusion of conflict and the inner battle.
This is where this whole metaphysical blueprint crashes headfirst into our modern daily lives. We're left looking at two fundamentally contrasting views. On the one hand, the ego's view, which is born entirely out of panic, screams at us, the problem is out there, we must marshal forces, we have to fight the enemy to protect truth. But on the other hand, the light's view offers a completely different paradigm. It calmly states that love simply does not oppose. If you fight the dark group, well, you actually make the illusion real to yourself, and that just triggers this massive downward spiral of conflict. The only true answer is to stop, breathe, and look within.
And look, this isn't just some abstract ancient mythology we're talking about. This exact dynamic, projecting our deep internal guilt outward, is the literal root cause of every modern conflict we see today. From massive global wars and holy crusades, all the way down to those petty, everyday arguments we have with our partners over the dishes. The source material emphasizes over and over that every single battle is just a carbon copy of this original refusal to look at our own internal guilt.
In fact, this quote is really the master key to this entire explainer. Projection makes perception. What we perceive as these terrible, highly threatening things outside of us, the enemies, the bad guys, the hostile world, is quite literally just a projection of the guilt we refuse to look at within ourselves. It's an outward picture of an inward condition. It's like a movie projector casting our own inner turmoil onto a blank screen.
So, the astonishing truth that this explainer reveals, the real climax of our journey here today, is that there is actually no external enemy to fight at all. The source makes it emphatically clear. The problem is solely the way we choose to look at something. In reality, there is nothing out there. The enemy, the guilt, the raging conflict, it is all happening entirely inside the mind of the decision maker. Us. So, I'm going to leave you with this rather provocative question to examine in your own life. Right now, today, who is the dark group you're projecting your guilt onto? Who is that external enemy you're blaming for your own lack of peace, just to avoid doing the real work of looking within? I really hope this explainer has completely shifted how you view the origins of the battles in your life and serves as a reminder that true peace, it only comes from choosing to look within.